Hello and welcome to Access Asia, your 7-day roundup of news from across the continent. Coming up for you this week, we take you to meet the Frenchman who's working hard to turn Thailand's arid rice fields into something a bit more lush and green. Paying your final respects to your nearest and dearest needn't be a long, drawn-out affair. One Japanese company is now offering the world's first drive-through funerals. And finally, we head to China to meet the man who's getting mouths watering in the capital with his speciality French cheeses. But first, trees have long been nicknamed the lungs of the earth. Yet across large parts of Thailand, there's a chronic shortage. Frenchman Tristan Leconte and his company are digging deep in a bid to get Thailand's economy blossoming, its farmers' food self-sufficient, and our planet a little greener and cleaner. Our colleagues at France 2 Television have sent this report.
This Buddhist temple in the east of Thailand is busy celebrating the Spring Festival. These rice farmers are praying for a better harvest. Once again, this year's crop was poor due to the effects of global warming and the lack of trees.
I hope we'll have more trees in the future. It would be really beneficial for our community.
Some believe their prayers have already been answered. A 43-year-old Frenchman, Tristan Leconte is better known as the man who saves forests. This region is one of Thailand's poorest, and desertification has clearly taken hold. But Tristan and his company believe all is not lost. They've come to help farmers who are struggling to survive in these barren and dusty fields. His solution is to plant trees.
Here we're in a field which is extremely arid, as you can see here. It's just like sand. So we plant trees to reintroduce organic matter and to enrich the soil.
Some rice growers live with the equivalent of 800 euros a year, and trees are also a means for them to earn more.
You can build a house with the wood. Mushrooms also grow under trees. We can sell these, and we can make fuel from their oil.
Tristan works across the globe. One day it's China, the next Peru, Brazil, or Colombia. His company has already helped some 150,000 farmers in over 40 countries.
We've planted 7 million trees. It's something we should be proud of, but that's only half a day of deforestation. Each day, 10 million trees are destroyed, and these trees are much bigger than the ones we plant.
Further north in Chiang Mai, the landscape is much greener. When Tristan came to this rice farm 6 years ago, everything was dry. Now it almost looks like the Garden of Eden. The Frenchman's main aim is for local producers to become self-sufficient, and at the heart of the whole project is, of course, the trees. These ones were planted 3 years ago. Tristan's team comes regularly to check up on them.
Trees are the opposite of man. They're generous. They keep nothing for themselves. They recycle and clean everything. They absorb pollution, like CO2 and so on. And they give out riches forever and for everyone.
Planting a tree costs between 2 and 5 euros. An investment that benefits the local economy and the planet, but also one that has sparked the interest of several large corporations looking to green their image and become more eco-friendly.
We act as middlemen between companies that want to help the planet and the local producers. For example, we work with the likes of L'Oréal, which purchases rice oil for its shower gels, or others like Clarins, who plant trees to reduce their carbon footprint.
Tristan hopes his green-fingered army will help turn around the fortunes of Thai farmers, but also that it can have a lasting impact on the future health of the planet.
Now, when you think of drive-thrus, you probably think of a place to get a speedy burger and chips. But did you know that you can now bid your last farewells to loved ones without ever unbuckling your seatbelt and leaving your car? One company in Japan has launched what it believes is the world's first drive-through funeral service. Laurent Berstecher has the details.
Paying their respects to the deceased without getting out of their cars. In this Japanese funeral home, mourners can bid an express farewell to their loved ones. All the traditional gestures, including burning incense and praying for the departed, can be performed from the driver's seat. The small ceremony is filmed and broadcasted inside the venue for other attendees to see. A futuristic service which could benefit hurried businessmen on their way to a meeting, but which was primarily designed to help the elderly and the disabled.
I hope the service will allow those with disabilities or limited mobility to attend funerals.
The idea is not as eccentric as it seems. Around 28% of Japan's population is currently 65 or older, a proportion that's expected to rise to 37.5% by 2050. This means demand for funeral services will continue to increase, further boosting an industry that's already worth an estimated 13.5 billion euros a year.
Next, former President Charles de Gaulle once called France a land of 246 cheeses, but love for the likes of Brie, Camembert and Cantal have spread far and wide. One Chinese man has become a master in French fromage after coming to Corsica to learn how to make magic out of sheep's milk. Alex Aucott has more.
Liu Yang takes great care in preparing his prized products, which are totally unique. He's the only one in Beijing to make these kinds of specialty cheeses, and he shares his know-how with his staff.
The fermentation process is faster in the cellar.
He produces 100 kilograms each day. These craft cheeses are produced using French methods, as it was in France that Liu Yang learnt the tricks of the trade.
We call this cheese French cheese from Beijing. The taste is French, even if the milk is from here.
He first discovered cheese 12 years ago while in Corsica. As a student, he visited the island and went on to work as an apprentice cheesemaker for 3 years.
I think of them often. They taught me everything. It's thanks to them that I'm making cheese now.
And business is booming. From his modest shop, his order books are always full.
Let's go. I've got to make my deliveries.
But most of his customers are still expatriates, although he hopes that one day Chinese people will also learn to enjoy the taste of these distinctive cheeses. It's not easy, however. At this cheese market, it sells very slowly.
Older Chinese people don't like cheese. It's younger people who are starting to get a taste for it.
It's a product that has no place in the traditional Chinese diet, but some are willing to give it a try.
It's good. I think it's nourishing and will help me grow.
It's the end of the day in Beijing, and Liu Yang is making his final delivery to this French restaurant.
Okay, my friends, here's the cheese. What we have here is a shipment of blue cheese. It's still not quite good as the real Roquefort, but he's learning and he's almost there. And it's a good thing he's around. Without him, there would be no blue cheese at all.
In a country where imported goods are subject to very high taxes, this cheese, inspired by Corsica, but very much Chinese, is enjoyed by all.
Cheers! Cheers! And finally, it's a country that doesn't celebrate Christmas itself, but it nevertheless plays a huge part in the festivities. Many of the baubles, the tinsel and the sparkles that we decorate our homes with are made in China. One city an hour's drive from Shanghai is where much of our Yuletide cheer is churned out.
Santa's workshop does exist, but it sits thousands of kilometers away from the North Pole in mainland China. If you've bought Christmas decorations in the past decade, chances are they came from Yiwu. Garlands, baubles, and of course tiny Santas. Here, some 50,000 shops sell everything you need to dress up your tree.
We sell our products in the US, in South America, and in Europe, especially France. We sell them everywhere. Most of our business comes from exports.
Around 60% of the world's Christmas decorations are produced in Yiwu, even if Christmas isn't considered an official holiday in China. The Yiwu market has been open since the 1980s, and some say this is where the Made in China phenomenon started. Here, over 600 factories and workshops produce Christmas decorations all year long.
This is the main material we use. It's plastic, which we mold with this machine to make the baubles. Then our employees manually take out the extra parts.
The factory is capable of producing 50,000 baubles each day.
This is the painting stage. We apply 4 layers of paint, then we let it dry for 10 to 15 minutes.
Business is booming, and orders for these baubles have risen by 20% this year. The factory employs 200 people and pays them around 360 euros a month, slightly more than the Chinese minimum wage.
These are the samples for the products we export to France. A bundle costs 3 euros to produce, and we sell it for 3.40 euros.
In France, these bundles cost around 8 euros. And if Yiwu is facing increased competition from e-commerce giants, the city still churned out over 2.5 billion euros worth of Christmas decorations this year.
Well, that brings our latest roundup of Asia news to a close. Don't forget to join us next time for a full and fresh programme. Until then, do stay tuned to France 24.